What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Roo.
Welcome to Couch and the Roo, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis, and our midweek show brought to you by our friends at Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar and Front 43 Neighborhood Pub that is just north of Frandor on East Saginaw and Lansing. And I was at Cask & Company in Front 43 last night with my my co-ed soccer team. Had some outstanding drinks, great time hanging out, watching some Monday Night Football. Just an unbelievable TV setup and good vibe there at Cask & Company and Front 43. A reminder, we will be at the East Lansing Skymint location for our pregame tailgate extravaganza. Jason and me, live show, hanging out, everything on October 30th. A little after 9 a.m. We'll figure out the exact time. Now we know that it's a noon kickoff, so it'll be an early morning.
It's a noon kickoff?
It's a noon kickoff.
Unbelievable. Pissed off.
It'll be an early morning, but it'll be fun. They'll have all sorts of food there. And the one good thing is you can't drink there, as I found out. It's a state law. You can't drink like next to a cannabis shop, apparently.
But you could put it in a red Solo cup.
I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do without anybody knowing, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of policing and that sort of thing. But you can't. You technically can't do it anyway. The morning helps that. I mean, I know some people want to drink at 9 a.m. I'm not a huge drinker at 9 in the morning.
I used to be. It's not a very fun lifestyle.
So we're looking forward to that and seeing you at Skymint on
Can I
October 30th.
Something?
Yeah,
I got something coming up this Saturday, the 22nd. I will be doing a baseball card showgram for the first time since I was 13 years old. So I'll be at the Lansing Mall if you want to stop by and say hi.
You're doing it yourself? It's
I'm
just
doing
the
it myself.
Jason Nick show?
It's the Jason Nick table. I'm going to have some cards out, bringing some fire, as the kids say.
This Saturday?
This Saturday from, I think it's 10 to 4.
Okay.
So.
Wow, that's awesome.
I don't know if I'm going to stay the whole time, but. Yeah.
All right. So there's that, too.
Yeah.
At Lansing Mall, right? You said?
Yep.
You might be the only thing in the Lansing Mall left. So
those card shows are what's saving the Lansing Mall, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Does not
unfortunate.
Does not surprise me. We got a fun show today. We're going to have James Edwards on in a little bit here in about 12 minutes to talk Pistons. Pistons open Wednesday night against the Bulls, beginning of a season.
No Cade Cunningham?
It doesn't sound like he'll be there.
What's going on with his ankle?
I'm not thrilled about it. We'll get into that a little bit. I'm not thrilled that he's 6'6", and he was 6'8" on Oklahoma State's roster last year. Like, Oklahoma State, get your shit together. Don't lie to people. But I'm still excited for this Pistons season, and I still think if you can get an over-under season wins bet in at over 24.5, I still think there's good value in that. The best bet that I'm in on is the one where it's plus 2,400 for them to make the top 10, get in the play-in tournament. So that is also an opportunity that may still be out there. I'm not sure what the odds are as well. Then we're going to have Cody Tucker on today by request for some story time. Story time.
He agreed to it, huh?
Yeah, with Cody Tucker.
All right.
And, so there may
Wyoming's finest.
Maybe some Hondo stories that come up with Cody. And so we'll do that after Harry, who we also have. So we'll go through our games tonight. So I did this in horrible order, but it's not my fault. Doug walked in and distracted me, and I can't focus on two things at once. And I'd love the sight of Doug Warren. It makes me just happy to see him in the studio.
A squirrel.
Yeah, it's trouble. Okay, so it is James Edwards. We're talking Pistons. Then it's Harry,
yes.
And we're betting the games.
We are.
And we're picking our parlays. We need to get one.
Ugh.
And then it's
Chargers.
Cody with Hondo stories. So I think it's a good show.
And we need some inside intel on the Wyoming Cowboys this weekend.
And whether
are they going to score? That's all I need to know. So my parlay's all gut feel today.
Well,
it's all gut feel.
Nothing.
I don't know what else to do.
Nothing else has been working. I hate this week. Actually, this week is not a great week. It's a struggle of a week. And
I saw the games that you picked. I'm like, holy crap, inflated spreads there.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough week to get right. Vegas is starting to zero in on what's what, which is not ideal. Before we do that, and I want to talk a little Michigan State football because I feel like. A couple things have happened. One, we talked about Mel Tucker and the LSU rumors quite a bit on Sunday. Nothing new, real, there, and we'll see where that goes. I've seen some odds where he's the top guy to get the job. I don't think Vegas knows. I don't think anybody knows because I know they haven't really talked to Mel Tucker. But what I want to focus on the Michigan State-Michigan game here because I think there's an interesting dynamic that happens with Michigan State-Michigan. Is a game for the fan base that's different than any other game. We're actually present for this. In other words, most of the season, we sit here and we talk about Michigan State football as if what might happen when they actually play this team in November. What could happen down the road? Could they be 10-2? Could they do this? Do they have an outside chance at the conference championship? Are they going to be bad? Are they going to be good? It's sort of this big picture down the road, can never be present in the moment. The world stops when it's Michigan State. Like nothing matters beyond that game right now. Like the Purdue game doesn't exist. Ohio State doesn't exist. Nothing exists. Because if you lose that game, it changes the temperament of everybody who cares about the team going into those rest of those games. You have to recalibrate. It's sort of a weird, interesting, and I think it's kind of a cool dynamic because it's the way ultimately we ought to treat every moment in life is like this is the most important thing. We're present in this moment. What happens here? But what happens here just defines everything else. You recalibrate after that. Okay, now they've beaten Michigan if you're a Michigan State fan. What does that mean? They've lost to Michigan. Can you still find some joy in the rest of the season? What does that mean? You have to recalibrate entirely, and it stops at this. There's no other game where it's like that. It's not even close.
Now, if you're a Michigan fan, are you nervous that Michigan's overlooking Northwestern? Even though Northwestern's not that scary, but
I don't think so.
Are they going to look past that to the Michigan State?
Two things hurt Northwestern in this setting. One, they're not very good, although they did beat Rutgers. But the other element is, and they're not that explosive, I don't think, which is also the type of team that could beat Michigan if they were overlooking somebody is a team that had like a dynamic wideout and a really good quarterback, and something went, haywire.
And Northwestern has I don't think they have one of
Hunter Johnson. It's not going to happen that way. So I don't see that happening. The other thing is it's a bye week going into it. So they've had, and I'm sure they spent some time on Michigan State, or at least the coaches did in the bye week. But when you have a bye week going into a game, it's really hard. It's been drilled into your head. You know what you have to do. I don't see it being one of those games. I don't know that they cover. I think the spread is like 23.5. It's a big number. It's a really, really big number, and I'm not going to take Northwestern either because I don't know that Michigan won't cream them. It's a bad number. It's a stay away.
So what you're
game.
saying is there's going to be some Graham Stout in the picks.
I'm just saying you stay the hell away from that. But yeah, and picking that one, it would be complete Graham Stouting of it. Now, what's sort of interesting to me about this game this year is that, and we talked about this before, the idea that you rightfully can't talk trash if you're a Michigan State or Michigan fan going into this one. Like I don't know that I've ever seen such a combination of optimism and uneasiness for both sides, where both sides are having these revival seasons, and it's sort of this moment where it's, okay, this could be really good, but neither team has beaten anybody that's elite yet. Both teams have had moments that looked a little shaky, and all the toughest games beyond this game are in November for both teams. And there's also this little bit of fear that how losing to the other one will change the season and change all the good vibes you got going on. Like it's an interesting dynamic. You don't get, usually one team has a better season going than the other. Or if you go back years to the last time they were undefeated in 99, like the programs were just in different places. Michigan was coming off a national championship 2 years earlier. Michigan State was trying to arrive. Like, they were just different places mentally Michigan fans didn't want to lose that game to Michigan State, but they were more comfortable in their skin, so to speak, where they were as a program in 99 and throughout the early 2000s. And Michigan State now has all this, and I'm not saying if if Michigan State loses to Michigan, Mel Tucker still would have won last year. They'll still be 7-1. It doesn't say anything about Michigan's dominance over Michigan. But the Michigan State revival story is then not even the top revival story in the state as big as it is in college football, right? Michigan steals a little of that thunder.
So you're saying Michigan State is pretty much it's a no-lose situation going to play in Michigan.
I'm saying, no, I didn't say that at all.
Oh, okay.
Were you listening?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I just was trying to contribute.
Thank you for your contribution. Yeah, that's really kind of fucked up the show there. Took us offline where we were headed.
Okay, go to break then.
No, I'm not. Don't need to do that. But no, I just look. I think this is. I usually I am sick of this game after a few days when it's Michigan State's next game because that's where people's heads are and the dynamic is. There's something in the dynamic that sucks from one of the fan bases, and I don't sense it yet. Yeah, there are a bunch of. I mean, there are chodes on Twitter who are making asses of themselves, and there are people out there saying dumb comments like, was it Braylon Edwards saying Michigan State doesn't have anybody and nobody knows? That was
so fake.
No, I mean, come on,
so forced.
That's like saying that. I mean, yeah, if you name a random school out west, I don't know who any of their defensive players are, but. If you don't know anything about college football, you might not know, but Michigan State has guys that if you watch college football week in and week out, you know who Jacob Panasiuk is. You know who Xavier Henderson is. If you're not watching Big Ten football, you might not. They're not household names, but how many defensive guys are actually household names? How many guys on Michigan's defense do you think most people in the world or just random sports fans can name? Zero. So, I mean, yeah, that was such a dumb, contrived thing. So you have stupid things like that. You have occasional people on Twitter who are just so, I mean, because I don't get, like, if you're talking shit right now, what are you doing? Like, you don't know on either side what this is, how this is going to play out. You should have zero confidence either way that for sure your side is better than the other right now. And the best part of it all is at the end of the day, and I wrote this in the column I wrote the other day, one side will win, and that fan base will behave as if they've achieved something. And the other fan base will behave with a disdain for life. And none of it will be justified because neither fan base has had shit to do with anything. But that's kind of the beauty of the rivalry. I don't mind that. I don't mind once it's happened that there's a moment of stick your chest out or a little bit of pity. That's part of why we love this stuff. But to do anything on the front end, when on the back end, whether your team wins or loses will have nothing to do with your ass. And there's no way in hell anybody has any clue right now. You may say, I think Michigan's going to be able to run the ball against Michigan State. That's great. But are you sure Michigan State isn't going to have enough advantages on its own offensive line of scrimmage that Kenneth Walker gets going enough and those receivers become problems and they're able to keep pace? If you're Michigan State, you've seen 2 games where you got partially outplayed against solid competition in Nebraska and Indiana. Are you real sure that that's not going to happen against Michigan at this time? Some of those breaks won't run out because Michigan, unlike those other teams, isn't snake bitten. Indiana and Nebraska have done a lot of things to beat themselves this year. So even though they're physically maybe in line with Michigan and Michigan State, they don't win games because they're not making the right plays. Michigan is also unbeaten because they made the right plays at the right time. So nobody knows shit. But it is because of that, I think there is less venom online. You may see a lot of it still, but I'm telling you right now, if one side really felt like they had something, it would be nauseating.
I mean, by checking Twitter, it seems like there's a lot of those people out there that know
they're dumb.
A lot of shit
like if you're talking Twitter, but if you're talking shit right now, you probably shouldn't be employed.
Why not?
Because
that's the whole point of you're playing football, though.
But what are you talking shit about?
I don't know. The game? Who cares?
Well, I mean, it's like me walking up to somebody who's better looking or faster or a better athlete and saying, I can beat you or I'm this and that. It's just not true. Like, what do you
say that on the basketball court?
That's true. That's delusion. That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
But I'm in the game at least. It's one thing if one of the players, if Xavier Henderson spoke up and said, we're gonna stuff these tools. That's fine. He's gonna be
harsh language.
He's gonna be on the field. You know, he's gonna have to back it up.
Stuff these tools.
Is that a line? Is that what the kids say?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's go to a quick break. We come back. James Edwards on the Pistons. Couch in the Roof, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis and Front 43 and Cask & Company.
Where else can you cheer on your team, enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi, sip on handcrafted cocktails, or one of 46 beers on tap? Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen, Bar, or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with one awesome blended modern American-Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Wherever you are on your cannabis journey, let Skymint Premium Cannabis be your guide, your friend, and your place. Whether you're curious about cannabis or a seasoned connoisseur, Skymint's knowledgeable staff will help you with a vast selection of products to choose from to fit your needs. Skymint believes access to the best cannabis helps people do good and feel good, so they grow it right here in Michigan, giving you high-quality, locally grown cannabis at highly accessible prices. Visit skymint.com for special offers and location information throughout Michigan, and use the promo code CouchAndRube20 for 20% off your first visit. Skymint Cannabis. You'll love this place. Trust matters, especially when it's your money. Mark and Jay at North Coast Wealth Management work hard to build a relationship of trust by providing thoughtful, objective guidance and placing your interests first. Invest with knowledgeable financial advisors who are on your side. Call today and tell them you're a friend of the show for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. 248-626-2000 and ask for Mark or Jay. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.
Find Couch in the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite podcast addict.
Couch in the Roof, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis. And our midweek show brought to you by our friends at Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar and Front 43 Neighborhood Pub, just on the edge of Lansing and East Lansing. No better place to watch a game this weekend or any weekend. And if you want to watch the Pistons opening night game on Wednesday night, Cask & Company and Front 43 is the place to do it. It's ladies' night, all sorts of good deals with ladies' night. And guys, you know what ladies' night means. There will be ladies there. So that's also a good time. It's really guys' night, essentially, if it's ladies' night. The deals are for them. But the atmosphere is for you, if that makes any sense. Very pleased now to be joined by a good friend and a man who can back up my pickup game stories. The great James Edwards from The Athletic, Detroit. Jason, how you doing? James, how you doing?
Well, it's some great friend, huh?
Yeah, sorry. I was looking at Jason.
That's okay.
And thinking of you.
Back up some of your pickup ball stories, not the one where you 1968 at Lansing Sexton Gym when you soared. And who's the Lansing guy that you love so much?
Ron Banks, man. Ron Banks.
Yeah, Ron Banks.
It's 1968. What the hell, man?
Oop.
How old do you think I am? Jesus. All right.
That was my first. I don't know why that came.
I get your name wrong, so I don't really have anywhere to talk, you know.
No, we're good. We're even.
Good. Well, James, I hope you're ready for the season because it's starting quick tomorrow night, and it's one that I think people are going to be tuned into. This might be the first season that you've covered the Pistons where there are going to be a lot of eyes on them and a lot of eyes on you, because I think there's hope that this is the beginning of something. How quickly do you think we're going to see some of that hope play out this year?
Good question. I think last year was a little bit of it. I would say last year people were definitely engaged more than they had been in recent years. This year, obviously, it's going to go probably to another notch or two higher. I'm curious. I don't know. I'm curious because I think Cade's going to be good, but I think Pistons fans have this. He's LeBron. He's Tracy McGrady. He's Kobe. Like, he's a face of the franchise for 20 years guy, and I don't know if that's the case. But I think he's going to be a really good NBA player for a long time.
Well, I think part of the problem with that is Oklahoma State needs to learn how to get a tape measure because he's not 6'8", right? So that was the beginning of the problem. Because I don't know if anybody – I'll be honest, James, I don't know that anybody would have been as high on him if they knew he was maybe 6'6". You know what I mean? Like that created the lure of him.
Right. Yeah, no, that definitely you hear about the stories of this guy's not actually 6'8", and he drops like 6 spots. I don't think that would have happened necessarily with Cade, but yes, that is definitely – something that does happen in the NBA and even the NFL with wingspans and stuff like that.
Well, and I mean, I'll go on a limb because I always hoped he was Luka Doncic, right? That's what I wanted him to be. And Luka's 6'9", and a big boy. And I'll go out as far as to say this: the whole year there's a narrative that he's the number one pick, and that sort of. And I'm not saying that led to they had to draft him pressure to be the number one pick, although. I've read through, your copy and the tea leaves from you and other people. My sense is that if Troy Weaver could have had the number 2 pick, he would have been just as happy to take Jalen Green.
Yeah, I think that's safe.
And so, but I think the drumbeat about Cade Cunningham doesn't exist to the extent it did throughout the season to where he's the a presumed number 1 pick if he hadn't been listed at 6'8". If people knew he was 6'5", 6'6", I don't know that he goes in as this presumed number 1 the same way, and then I think that would have given Troy Weaver the freedom to make the choice he wanted, which may have been Jalen Green. Is that safe?
I don't know necessarily if I don't know if he would have made a different pick. I don't want to guess that, but I definitely think that the noise, and if there was pressure from the city and the fan base to take Cade, I don't think there would have been as much pressure.
But they have Cade, and there's hope for Cade. So everybody embraces Cade, and Jalen Green said, fuck you, Detroit, so fuck Jalen Green, right? That's where everybody's decided. But so as we sort of move on to the Cade Cunningham era, what's interesting about this team is obviously they had last year's really good draft class. But they essentially add a guy like Jeremy Grant because Jeremy Grant didn't play like half the games last year as they were trying to tank down the stretch. Like you're going to get to see him play night in and night out. Like that, I think they're going to be trying to win this year, which is going to be a significant difference from the end of last year when they were playing most of their young guys. And so the question is just that approach, playing their veterans, playing their best dudes. As they try and get this young core to work, is this team has a chance to be a lot more competitive.
Yeah, no, I definitely I agree with that. I think you're going to see more of Jeremy Grant. I think he only played 50 or 56 games last year. That's a guy, and he's looked much better in the preseason. Sorry if I sound like I'm doing something. We just got a puppy, and he won't stop. I don't know why anybody would get a dog, by the way. Why are you paying to babysit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? That's not fun.
So hold on, you're about to enter an MBE. There are lots of times to get a dog. Like lots of people got a dog when there was a pandemic starting, because they're gonna be home a lot, right? A lot of pandemic puppies. You just got a dog weeks before you start the grind and the travel of an 82-game NBA season.
I didn't get a dog. I have to live with a dog. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a dog person, but
so it's not your primary responsibility. In other words.
Well, when the ladies at work from 3 to 10, it is apparently. So great. Yeah. Been a blast.
She's not listening, is she?
No, she's at work. I'm
3 to 10. Yeah.
Right.
I'm with you. Look, the whole key to this show is that Elizabeth never listens. So I'm with you, James. That's part of the deal.
I was going to say when you were doing your ladies' night thing, I was like, Grant sounds like he's got his night planned.
If I show up at a bar anyway, nobody's looking at me. It's fine. It's fine. No.
But to go to your point, I think Jeremy Grant coming back. I mean, they were trying to be cautious with quote unquote be cautious with him down the stretch when the games didn't matter as much. I think he's going to be better this year. They're going to try to win. I don't think they're going to be good enough still to make the playoffs, but I definitely think they're going to try to win. I don't think there's going to be much. I mean, I say that now, and then they're in the same position at the end of next year where it's either try to win and build some more, or look, we can maybe get another top 3 pick, and so let's rest some guys. I definitely don't think they go into February doing the sit guys. Like, I think it gets through February and maybe March, April they start thinking about that. But in the first 4 or 5 months of the year, yeah, they're going to try to win some games and let that dictate maybe what they do at the end of the year.
So if they're within striking distance of that 10th spot per se, they're going to keep trying to get it. You think, correct?
I think so. I think they'll go for it. And if they're in that position, that means a couple things went well with several of their young players. So I don't think you're as pressed to get another top 3 pick, especially in a draft that I'm not as high on, and other people I talk to aren't as high on as last year.
Killian Hayes, Cade Cunningham. Well, first of all, it's Cade Cunningham. Everybody asks when he's going to play. My guess is he's not in this first game, but you sense it's within a week or so?
Yeah, my guess, and this is just a guess, is next Friday in Philadelphia, so Game 4. Dwayne has said he'd like him to get a handful of practices under his belt. Dwayne said today that he did some stuff in practice today. That's what he said. He's not playing tomorrow. That's official. And they play in Chicago on Saturday, so that gives him 2 days to practice if he is 100%. That's, again, assuming he is 100%. So I just think they're going to be extra cautious. They're going to get as many practice days in as they can, and I'm looking at either next Friday in Philly or Thursday in Philly, or Saturday back in Detroit against Orlando. But it could be sooner. That's just me guessing based on just kind of how cautious they've been with this whole situation.
And who's the guy, like, if you look at last year's class, who's the guy you expect, if any of them, to take a major step forward and maybe change the way we think of them? I mean, does Killian Hayes have a chance to be that? I mean, Sadiq Bey to me is the guy that, like, 5 years from now, I think there's a chance he's like a borderline all-star, and you had a tweet at one point about him looked like he was going to try to average 20 or something. He's the guy that I think could really take a step. Am I wrong there?
I agree. That's the one. I think Isaiah, you know what you're going to get from him, and you're expecting it. And the biggest thing would be just to see him hit that 3-ball more. I don't think he's going to surprise you with anything. And Killian, if he ends up being a little bit more consistent, you still kind of know what you're getting from him. Sadiq's the one, like you said, I think there's potential to be a borderline all-star down the line. I mean, I've said this a couple times. If Sadiq didn't improve from his rookie year, he could still play on every team in the NBA as a 3-and-D guy. But if he's able to add some ball handling stuff, some creation stuff, you post up more, he's a good rebounder. Like, he's going to try to show that he's more than just a shooter. And he's got the frame to do it. I think he's got the smarts to do it. It's just, can his lack of athleticism, can his smarts make up for his lack of athleticism, and can he find ways to score and be crafty inside the paint without necessarily having the quickest first step or the bounciest of hops? But I think he has the frame and the tools to go to a different level and raise his ceiling if he can continue to be a little bit more efficient when he puts the ball on the floor and gets inside the arc.
All right, 2 questions here. Cade Cunningham, points per game, points and assists. Let's just do points per game that he averages this year, and number of wins for the Pistons, and what place that puts them in the East.
I think Cade averages 15 and 6.
That's a hell of a rookie year.
Yeah, it's a really good one. 15 and 6. And the Pistons win 29 games, and that gets them the 11th seed.
I'm telling you right now, I've got them at over 24.5. I think is a great play for Vegas. And the other thing is, I got them at plus 2,400, where $100 pays 2,400 if they get the 10 seed. So if they get up in the top 10. So I think that's, if you can still find good value on that, even though it's a little bit of, I want to say a long shot, but there's still tremendous value there. How confident do you feel right now in Michigan State against Michigan next weekend?
Oh man,
because you're a Michigan State grad, if people don't know.
Yes, I've watched more Michigan State football this year than I have in the last few years, and I'm really invested. I'll say this. I think in a normal college football season, I don't think either of these teams are top 10 teams. I think they're definitely top 25 teams. But I think top 10. I think they've outkicked their coverage. But I'll say this: I still, and this is not. I mean, I'm talking to a largely Michigan State crowd, so I don't need to preface it with being a homer. But I think that State just has whatever it is. They have it, and I still don't think Michigan has it. And I think Michigan State's going to win big. Like, I think it's going to be. They're going to come to play, and it's going to be a smack fest. I think so, and that's not homerism. I feel that way. I genuinely feel it. It's going to happen. Let's go green.
There's a lot of people who are listening to this are hoping you're right, James.
Don't coach my team.
James, man, I appreciate you taking the time, man. I wish you luck. I can't wait to hang with you again.
Yes, sir. We need to make that happen. Thank you guys for having me on. It's always fun, and yeah, let's get together soon. We're dropping MFers now?
That is James Edwards from The Athletic. You can read his work there. You know how I feel about The Athletic, and it's worth subscribing. He has a good piece up now on 10 bold and not so bold predictions for the 2021-22 Detroit Pistons, and always worth a read there. Anything you take from that conversation, Jason?
Well, if James doesn't like watching a dog, I hope he doesn't want kids, because I think dogs are way easier than children are.
Sure, of course they are.
You know, and what's up? You know what? I was almost going to the game tomorrow, and how bummed would I have been to no Cade Cunningham the first game?
I think that was always headed that way, right?
Was it?
Yeah. No. Why
I didn't know how serious this ankle was.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
No. I'm still looking forward. There's enough intrigue around this team. I'm still excited to watch them start playing. But yeah, Cade's key. I do think what I led there with James is right. I do not think they draft Cade Cunningham if his height was appropriately listed all last year in Oklahoma State's roster.
I did appreciate how you went Jack Ebling with the question. Give me how many points he's going to average, how many wins the Pistons are going to have, Saban Lee's over-under assist at 3.5 a game. I was like, Jesus, put the guy on the spot.
Why not? Why not? That's what his Michigan State pick people have to like. And
absolutely.
That's a by the way, before we get to Harry here, do you see Brett Bielema is throwing his offensive line under the bus?
I did see that.
And now it makes me think that 23.5 points at Penn State, and I think Penn State is now coming off a bye, is not enough.
You think the team's going to be like, F this guy?
I don't know if that's a motivational speech, man. Like in the trenches.
But is he wrong?
He's not wrong, but if you're in the trenches
do it.
And he's like, these are the guys that have to protect your quarterback, have to play for you, and none of my dudes have developed. You know, they just suck in the trenches, basically, is what he said. I don't know that I don't know that
you guys
fires you up.
You sports writers hate like coach speak, and a guy actually comes out and says it how he feels.
If you're covering it, if you're covering the game, it's great. If you're looking to cover spreads, it's a different matter. Like I'm looking at this, I'm not covering that team from a media standpoint. It's outstanding, right?
Bielema just hitting F5 on the transfer portal website. Sorry, this shit up.
Yeah, it's that's a bizarre thing. He went all in, but you know what? At least he's
stealing money anyway. That's all that gig is.
He's done better than the Washington State coach. We'll leave it at that, right?
I don't know how you do that. I'm sorry. If I'm your wife and you leave a $3.5 million job because you don't want to get a vaccination, that's insane.
What would piss me off if I was one of his players or one of his other coaches who's now going to probably lose their job because they're going to bring in a new staff.
Yeah.
And all those families, you got all these people relying on you. And I get that but man,
there's just certain, I understand if you want to, the science and all that stuff of it, but if you have a job, it's rare to get a job where you're doing what you love.
But that's the thing,
$3.5 million.
And if you understand the science of it, you'll go get a shot.
Sure.
Or you'll,
I understand the money of it.
Yeah.
And I would get the shot anyway, but
yeah,
it's just insanity. I don't know.
I just, if you're going to be all about the other people, these football folks, they're worried about their health through misinformation about a shot, and yet they go out and crack their skull every week. Like you're in a sport where if long-term health is your concern, get the fuck out of football. You cannot play football or coach football, having been a football player, be around that environment and say, my long-term health is my thing. You just can't. You can't, because you have chosen a profession that is, while is gladiator-like, and we all enjoy it, but it is not one that features the best interest of your long-term health. No, that is for certain. Do you want to grab Harry, and we'll get to our games. While he does that, a reminder: Skymint locations throughout Michigan, 3 in the greater Lansing area, many more. You're probably within half an hour of a Skymint. And if you go to a Skymint, you can use the Couch in the Rube promo code, Couch and Rube 20 for 20% off. If you're doing this, if you have any issues with that, let us know. Please let us know if you are using it too. We want to make sure that's working for people out there. And because earlier on we had some issues here and there. I want to make sure you're getting the best deals when you are at Skymint, and the Couch in the Roof promo code is one way to do that. That said, there are also other good deals. Like on Wednesday this week, deal of the day, Skymint and North 8th, $25. So there will be other deals. If the deal that's there is better than the Couch in the Roof promo code, you'll get that deal. But Couch in the Roof 20 or Couch and Roof 20 for 20% off at any Skymint location. And again, we hope to see you at the Skymint tailgate on October 30th on the East Lansing Skymint on Coolish Road. That'll be a little after 9 a.m. Before the Michigan State game. Very pleased now to have our good friend Harry Gagnon from the Against All Odds podcast, extrapoints.com and bestbetcorner.com with us. Harry, how are you doing, man?
What's up, buddy? How are you guys doing today?
I think we're good. This week,
not as good as Harry. He's on his way to Vegas.
Harry's always
what a life this guy leads. It's amazing.
Boy.
Just $100 a day, Harry. That's right.
That's the plan, Jay.
That's it.
Listen, we know that's how we do it.
All right.
Harry, I don't love the games this week. I don't love it sucks when you hit these weeks where you're going through them and you're like, this is not an easy week. And it's not just because Michigan State's not playing. I mean, there's not either Vegas is caught on or there aren't games where you just go, boy, that's interesting. And there's some games that I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go through.
It's just a lot of games. The way college is kind of, with a lot of big spreads. It makes it difficult to really, who's going to really cover the big spreads? Do they really? What are they looking ahead next week to certain games, certain teams? Makes it difficult.
Well, let's go through these and see if we can find some we like, and then we'll do our 3-team parlays here in a bit. Let's start with a game that I find a little bit interesting with a big number: Ohio State -20 at Indiana. And I think it's intriguing for Michigan State fans because I think Michigan State fans just saw Indiana physically against MSU, and there probably isn't that much of a difference. And so how Ohio State does against Indiana is sort of maybe foreshadowing a little bit what that matchup is for MSU. Not that MSU doesn't have some advantages over Indiana. They got a better quarterback. They may have, they've got a better running back. There may be opportunities to counter a little differently. But Ohio State -20 at Indiana. I think Indiana's corners were great against MSU. I'll be interested to see them this week. I'm actually going to take the Hoosiers on this because I think while Ohio State wins by a couple touchdowns, 20 is a lot. It's a home night game and sort of a last gasp for Indiana's season. Give me a somewhat competitive game that Ohio State pulls away from late, and this was a competitive game eventually, or a year ago when Indiana came back. Give me Indiana on this. Jason, where are you?
See, I don't think it's high enough. I love Ohio State -20. I've seen enough of Indiana. What do you got, Harry?
I do too, but that's an interesting take you have on the game, Graham. But still, aside from losing to Oregon, Buckeyes 45, 41, 59, 52, and 66 in their last game against Maryland. Put up Stroud 735 yards in the last 2 games. You guys mentioned that game last week. Indiana gave it all they had last week against your Spartans. I just don't think they have anything left in the tank here. It's so hard to go against Ohio State the way the offense is rolling. Give me the Buckeyes and lay the big number.
Yeah, see, the thing is, you mentioned Ohio State football in terms of their schedule and what they've been doing to people. But they haven't played. I mean, much like Michigan State and Michigan, they didn't play anybody else. They beat a bad Maryland team that's fallen off the rails, a Rutgers team that's proven not to be very good, that just lost to Northwestern. Like, I get what you're saying, but they haven't been killing people that are actually worth anything. And so that in Indiana, to me, looked like a roster that still has some worth. So I'm against you guys in this. Again, I'm not playing this fucking game because I don't think it's a very good spread. But if I were to bet it, I would go with Indiana here. Okay, here's a game of intrigue because of Brett Bielema opening his mouth and basically saying his team sucks. Illinois plus 23.5 at Penn State, coming off a bye. I don't know what's going to happen. Penn State's offense, who knows? Sean Clifford and all that stuff. But I can't imagine what he said fired up Illinois. Illinois is really struggling. We saw a bad Wisconsin team just put one on Illinois. This one's on the road. Give me Penn State, and I'll probably play this game. Where are you, Jason?
I like it. You might want to get it now while it's at 23.5, I think. Brett Bielema is a fat guy that rips on other fat guys on his team. Get out of here. Penn State. Give him the 23 and a hook. What do you got, Harry?
Yeah, you know what? I'm on with you guys too. Illinois last 5 games has only averaged 13 points. You mentioned getting shut out against Wisconsin. I'm going to take Clifford and the Nittany Lions. I think they roar here. They're big time. They win this game in the 30s.
Yeah, that's okay. So that game we're all on. I think I will play that. The next one of more local interest here: Northwestern plus 23.5 at Michigan. Another big line. Northwestern gets the win last week. Feeling a little better about themselves. Going to Michigan. Could be looking ahead, but Michigan's coming off a bye, which doesn't go well for Northwestern. I don't like the line at all. I wouldn't play it either way. But give me Michigan in this game because I don't think Northwestern's explosive enough to counter them. I think that line though is about right, so I'm not going to touch it. Jason, where are you?
See, I'm going to take Northwestern plus 23 and a hook because I don't trust Michigan yet to cover a spread like that. Obviously, I think Michigan wins the game easily. I just think 23 and a hook and Cade McNamara, no thanks. Give me Northwestern. What do you got, Harry?
I'm with you, Jay. I don't love this game, but I'm going to take Northwestern. It's not, like you guys mentioned, it's not a great win against Rutgers, but they still won that game by double digits. I think Harbaugh and Wolverines might be looking ahead to your guys' Spartans a little bit here. This is a game where Michigan maybe wins by 17-20, but I'll take the 23.5 with the Wildcats.
All right, the next game, I kind of like Alabama here. Well, you usually like Alabama. Tennessee plus 25.5 at Alabama. And look, Tennessee's not a horrible team. They've turned it around a little bit as a program. But this is a rivalry game. It's at Alabama, and Alabama's already suffered its loss. They look dialed in, and I just think that the gap there, Alabama's a team, you talk about Michigan not trusting them against big spreads. This game inside of 4 touchdowns, I like Alabama. Give me Alabama. Jason, where are you?
I think Nick Saban gets revenge for his buddy Lane Kiffin. They hammer Tennessee. What do you got, Harry?
Yeah, Tennessee, that was a little bit of a disappointing loss in Matt Corral last week in Ole Miss. Bryce Young, it's a stud, 24 touchdowns on the season. He's battling Corral for right now. I think they're neck and neck for the Heisman. Needs another big game. Alabama rolls it up. They've been putting up big numbers all season. Bama's offense too much here. They roll Tennessee.
All right, next game. This is going to be one of my parlay. Wisconsin -3 at Purdue. Why Wisconsin? Look, we just watched Purdue. Defensively, Purdue can play. They finally got some offense going together and punking Iowa on the road. We've seen Wisconsin all year. Other than Illinois, they're not very good at all. I don't understand why Wisconsin's a favorite on the road here at all. I mean, there's very little to suggest that I don't get it at all. Give me Purdue here. Jason, where are you?
See, but there's these lines like this, guys, that look weird, right?
Yeah.
There's something on the face value, but Purdue at home getting 3. Give me Purdue. What do you got, Harry?
Hey, guys, Graham, you're right. I don't know what it is with this Wisconsin team and the odds makers in Vegas making them such a favorite a lot of times. Because you remember the Notre Dame game?
Yeah.
The game was in Soldier Field. Why were they 6.5 to the Irish when the Irish were number 8 in the country or number 10 in the country at the time? Doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense either, especially with Purdue coming off a totally impressive win in Iowa City, holding the Hawkeyes to 7 points. It makes no sense here why Wisconsin is 3. I want to take Purdue, but it's so off this line. I'm taking the Badgers. Weird number here.
Here's the counter to that, Harry. It is so off, but Vegas has been so off with Wisconsin. Other than I'll give them this. I jumped on a teaser on Illinois when it was that jumped it up to like 18 points, and they still couldn't cover. So, Vegas saw that, but Vegas has lost a lot of money on Wisconsin too on weird lines. So I don't know that they're they're dead on here. But your point is taken. All right, to the NFL, Chiefs at Titans. Interesting game because the Chiefs finally got it going in the second half. Titans last night. I didn't see that coming against the Bills, and probably should have, although it was the end of a parlay for me, so I definitely hedged a little bit and did okay. But Chiefs -5 at Titans. To me, while I don't trust it, I think the Chiefs did get something going a little bit. The Titans are going to be coming off a short week, and I'll take the Chiefs here. Jason, where are you?
The Titans are a weird team. I think watching them last night, they should score every time. They have Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, and A.J. Brown. Come on, Tannehill. I just don't trust the Chiefs on the road. Give me the Titans +5.5. What do you got, Harry?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys, because this Tennessee team, they play the level of the competition. They lose to the Jets. They beat the Bills. Henry looks fantastic. I don't know about the number here. I'm going to take the over, though, guys. I love this game over 56.5. Tennessee's defense 24th. Kansas City's 28th. Kansas City's second best offense in the league. They seem to get things rolling finally against Washington. I'm going to take over 56.5 in this game. I really like that one, guys.
So the recommendation is over. If you had to play it one way or another for our purposes, what would you do?
You know what? I think I'd still lay the points for the Chiefs because they really look good in the second half against Washington. And Tennessee, again, like they had to do everything in their power to pull that game out against the Bills, even though I think that was kind of a shady situation at the end of the game, too. So they got the cover. They got the win last night. But I think Kansas City gets the cover on Sunday.
I like what you said there, the over. That's a good recommendation because 56.5, the Chiefs are not a great defense. The Titans ought to be able to score against them. The Chiefs may have found something. I actually think that's a really
Chiefs are giving up 29 points or more in every game except against Washington game.
All right, Jets +7 at the Patriots. And I put this on here not because we put a lot of Jets games on here, but because I like the Patriots so much. And I know that games are close, but I just think the Patriots are coming off a really tough, close loss. And I think they've found a little – I think Mac Jones and that group is ready to roll. Like, Belichick doesn't lose to the Jets that often. Like, to me, I like this game a little bit. I know the Jets aren't as bad as they once were, but give me the I'm talking once were this season. They're a little bit better. But give me the Patriots. Jason, where are you?
I wish I could get on a spacecraft with Bill Shatner so I could get as far away from this game as possible. But for the purposes of this little game here, give me the Jets +7 at Patriots. What do you got, Harry?
Well, listen, guys, look, I know, Graham, I know you have that offensive player of the
I do.
Hear that on Mac Jones. So that's
right.
That looked good. He had a nice game last week, so that was good. But in this spot, Jets coming off a bye week, got their first win. Pats have played 3 straight wild games, losing to Tampa Bay when folk hit the crossbar. They pulled out the game versus the Texans when they were down big, and they blew the game late on Sunday against Dallas. I think that's a lot for this team to take in 3 straight weeks. Give me the Jets with the 7.
All right. Now I'm against you guys a lot today. This is I'm getting a little nervous here. Another game I'm going to have in my parlay. Lions +14.5 at Rams, and I'm not going to be on the Lions. I know the Lions have played some really close games and covered some spreads, but I think the wheels are about to really come off here, and I think obviously this is the Rams wanting to do something for Stafford against his old team. I think the Rams are just going to this is a 3-touchdown plus type deal that gets ugly. Give me the Rams all day here, Jason.
I was just about to say it wouldn't scare me if it were 20.5.
Yeah.
Give me the Rams. What do you got, Harry?
Yeah, screw you guys, Lions last week. I put a little faith in them. Thought they were going to cover that 3.5. I thought
Why?
it was a letdown situation. Thought it was a letdown situation for Cincy. I thought Detroit the week before against Minnesota played tough. Campbell's crying afterwards, saying how great his team played, and I thought they would be backing him last week. They were awful. That was the worst game of the year so far for the Lions. Yeah, you're right. The Rams lay it on him. Stafford going up against his former team, pound him. I think the Rams, very possibly, if you find the lines, whoever scores the most points on Sunday, let's put it on the Rams.
Harry, why didn't you text me? I could have told you to avoid the Detroit Lions covering against the Bengals. I mean,
all right,
too many weed sodas.
I picked up too many weed sodas is right. Jason. Wow.
All right, lastly, Bears +12.5 at Bucks. I pick a lot of great ones.
Vegas is on one this weekend.
Yeah. No, this is a game where the Bucks should kill them, but the NFL that doesn't always happen so easily. That said, I can't take the Bears here. I'm on the Bucks. It feels heavy. I wouldn't bet this game, but Jason, where are you?
Oh man, this is at Tampa Bay. Give me the Bucks, given the 12.5. I wouldn't play it, but for this game, I'm taking the Bucks. What do you got, Harry?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks too. Remember, Brady. I think Brady dominates them in this game because remember, this is a revenge game from last year. Last year they played on a Thursday, and the Bears actually beat Brady and the Bucks. So I think it's a revenge game here. I think Tampa Bay rolls it up. Brady against bad teams. He's just been killing teams, and I think he does it against the Bears too.
Yeah, I mean the Lions to me is a better play. All right, are we ready for our
parlay that never wins, that misses every fucking week?
Well, not for me. I've hit about half of these. Yeah, but you just need a win. I mean, you've been close on a couple of these.
Graham, you were close. You needed the Bills, didn't you, last week?
Yeah, did I have something? I think I missed something.
The soccer game?
Soccer hit.
Yeah. Then I think you had another winner too, didn't you?
Yeah, no.
You had Kansas City.
Yeah. Yeah, that was close. I needed the Bills last night. But like I said, I hedged, and I don't feel great about it because I hedged because I didn't feel good going into the game. I don't know. I just it was weird like that.
Enough of this ass kiss fest. Let's get to these. All right, first up, Harry, New Mexico at Wyoming. Oh. Now, after you, Cody Tucker, our friend from Wyoming, he covers the Pokes. He's going to tell us all about this. I am taking the under at 40.5. Wyoming last week scored 0 points. New Mexico scored 7 the last 2 weeks. Give me the under on that. Next, Rams at home. We talked about it. No need to explain any further. The Lions are ass. Give me the Rams minus 15.5. Philly at Las Vegas over under 49. These two teams, their defense is terrible. Give me the over, Harry, at 49. Plus 595.
I like it. I like where your head is. I love that under. With was it New Mexico or New Mexico State?
I mean Wyoming. I was following the Twitter feed of Wyoming people. They were going nuts.
Yeah,
our offense is dead. So,
all right. So I was going back and forth between Penn State and Alabama, and so I'm probably going to hurt myself here because I'm going to go with Penn State as my third team in the parlay instead of Bama, and probably regret it. So if you don't like Penn State, take Bama. I'll say that, and I'm not trying to, but again, if you can buy half points, do it here. Purdue plus 3 at home. Love it. Penn State minus 23. If you can buy the half point, do so. The Rams minus 14.5 or minus 14. And so if you put $100 on that, it would pay $540. So plus 540 for Rams minus 14, Penn State minus 23, Purdue plus 3. I like that a lot. That's my 3-team parlay. Harry, what do you think?
Wow, interesting. So you both got the Rams, so it cancels down to a 2-teamer for both. I got to decide on here. But I mentioned I do like Penn State over Illinois. Their offense, Illinois, really struggling. But just that Purdue-Wisconsin game, it's so shady, and I want to take Purdue. I want to like the Boilermakers, especially like we said, what they did against Iowa, who's been very impressive up until last week. So, but again, the line doesn't make any sense to me here. I do agree with Jason on the Philly Raider game to go over. A lot of offense here. Jalen Hurts does look good. He can move the ball. He's been putting some points and getting a lot of rushing yards too. So I like that. And I'm gonna buy into this New Mexico Wyoming under. I hear you. I was surprised last week a little bit that Wyoming couldn't get anything going. So I'm going to go with just because that Purdue-Wisconsin game, I just don't like it. It seems fishy. I'm going to go with Jason this week.
He got it! Hurts, but it's understood. It's understood.
No soccer, though, Graham. No soccer?
Nah, not yet. I'm going to look at there's a lot of Champions League stuff happening. I'll probably go with I'll come up with some sort of Premier League bet later in the week.
We almost got out of here, Harry. Some soccer shit.
Did, yeah. Right.
Damn you.
I screwed that up.
There are things I like, even with some heavy favorite parlays with Chelsea and Norwich and some things like that, some alternative lines. But I got to look at how, like, Chelsea plays tomorrow in the Champions League. So I got to look at how people emerge from that and who's playing and all that sort of stuff. And I'll tweet out a line later in the week. Harry, you are a beautiful man. Can't wait to talk to you next week.
Thanks, Harry.
Awesome, guys. Take care.
That is Harry Gagnon from the Against All Odds podcast. And also Best Bet Corner and ExtraPoints.com. All right, do we want to go straight to Mr. Cody Tucker?
I can give him a call. You got a live read there?
Yeah, I'll go straight to let's go straight to Cody here. A reminder this weekend, Cask and Company, Front 43. Great place to watch a game. Great place to watch the Pistons. Great place to watch Ohio State, Indiana, the Michigan Northwestern game. And Wednesday night is ladies' night. It's all sorts of specials going on. They have good happy hour specials every day. Great lunch spot. It is just a good if you have never been to Front 43 and Cask and Company, I wish we were doing another live remote there right away. At some point we will. It's a great place to chill with a beer and like last night I'm there with my co-ed soccer team. We're sitting on the patio, and it was just outstanding, just absolutely outstanding. Cask and Company, the adjacent bar, is a great date spot. It's a place I've taken Elizabeth many times. Everything from outstanding burgers to sushi, and they do everything they do very, 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 very well. And they're our original sponsor. They've been with us since the beginning. They've been very loyal, and we appreciate them like we appreciate you. Do we have our man Cody?
We're good.
All right. Very happy now to have the great voice of Cody Tucker on the other line.
What's happening, guys? Thanks for having me. I think.
Just wanted to play your theme song.
Night time's rolling my way.
I know it's Cody's favorite song.
Man.
It's amazing.
Cody Tucker stories are the best. Like, as soon as I talk to Cody, I start thinking about all sorts of things, like him injecting himself with steroids in the ass so he can play JUCO baseball, things like that. These are the things that come to mind. And I mean,
one of your role models, Kenny Powers, and the '93 Phillies. What do you think's going to happen?
That's a fact.
I mean, one of my favorite story about that is the coach tells you, the JUCO coach tells you to come back in shape, so you get roided up and huge, and then he makes you run on the first day back, and you haven't run once over the summer, and you beat one kid in the mile, and you thought you were great, and it turned out that kid had just overcome cancer, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Bastard. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was, in fact, when the coach told me I needed to lose weight and be in better, like 100% better shape when I came back in 4 months, made a call to my dealer immediately and got some steroids coming. And apparently it was for horses and cattle, so my girlfriend at the time didn't enjoy that. She enjoyed the new body, but not what it took to get there.
Or the side effects, probably.
I actually didn't snap once.
Okay.
I was really good, man. I felt great. I've never felt better. If I can just talk my wife into that, I'd do it again.
I was just talking about the shriveled testicles mostly, but
well, that's always been a problem, Graham.
All right. So a couple things. What's going on with your Pokes? I thought they were going to have a dream season. It has not happened.
A couple of rough outings here. Cowboys actually haven't scored a point in the last 6 quarters or 7 of the last 8. It's been really rough, and the offense is just defense is playing lights out, of course, but the offense just is not carrying the weight. Turned the ball over 5 times last week against Fresno State, and didn't score at home in a 17-0 loss to the Bulldogs. So definitely some changes that need to be made, because this team had 95% of its roster coming back this year. So, basically unacceptable, very unacceptable. And the quarterback position is wide open this week. So we'll see if Levi Williams or Sean Chambers is the guy when the mighty New Mexico Lobos come to town. New Mexico racked up 76 yards of total offense last week against Colorado State. So that might be just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, I love Jason has the under on this as part of his can't miss parlay, under 40.5. I love that, given the stats of these two teams last night.
And Cody, how is Wyoming a 20-point favorite? If their offense is in shambles.
New Mexico is. New Mexico, their one touchdown last week was on a punt return, so they are not doing anything through the air, on the ground, or anywhere else.
What a game. We got to watch. Yeah. I'll tell you what, if you want to watch a game at Cask and Company or Front 43, show up on Saturday for this 2:07 Eastern. Is it 2:07 Eastern time? It's 11 a.m. out there, whatever it is, and ask them to put on the New Mexico-Wyoming game. I'm sure everybody else in the bar will be absolutely thrilled.
And slam some crafty beer.
So
I was wearing my Michigan State hat the other day during the press conference, and Coach Bull called me a front runner. So I never thought I'd hear that.
Yeah, you left before they got good. That's
Yeah, well, D'Antonio turned him around the year after when I got there.
Oh, that's
true. Him into a 10-3.
That's right. You were there for that.
They played in the Holiday Bowl. Yeah,
I forget how long it's been.
Yeah, but they were 3-9 when I got there, or whatever it was. It was brutal.
All right. So one of the reasons we promised to have you on is we kind of joke about your Hondo stories from time to time, and I think nobody probably has better Hondo stories or gotten to know Hondo more. And I don't know if I didn't warn you well enough when you got here, and somehow you wound up in his lair. And
literally.
And so nobody else that's ever happened to. So give us when's the last time you hung out with Hondo Carpenter?
As crazy as it sounds, I got a hold of the guy who covers Colorado State, my buddy Justin Michael, and I said, hey, do you want to go to Vegas for Mountain West Media Days with me? And I said, we'll save some money on a hotel. We're going to stay with this guy I know named Hondo. And he's like, Hondo? That's bizarre. And I said, oh, he covers the Raiders. I didn't want to scare the hell out of the kid. So we went and ended up staying with old Hondo. And we got to Vegas, landed, and we still hadn't heard from him. So we had no idea where we were going. And in fact, I called my wife and said, hey, you better get me a hotel room. This guy's not giving us a call. And then he finally called last minute and, where are you guys? So it was interesting. This kid, obviously Justin, who came down with me, I call him a kid. He's probably 10 years younger than me, but he walked into his house and there's like 500 stuffed animals around the house. And I'm not talking the kind kids play with. I'm talking about like fresh kill. And Justin was like, man, it looks like a Cabela's in here. And there was a bear on my bed, a huge bear head with the claws and the whole nine. And he's like, I said, what in the hell is this thing? And he's like, oh, it's a black bear. I shot it. And I go, why is it on the bed? And he said, well, you can use it as a blanket. I'm like, it's Las Vegas. It's 119 degrees outside. Can we ditch the damn bear, please? So, and it's funny because Hondo thinks I'm a crazy right-wing Republican because I'm from Wyoming, and so he thinks I'm a big hunter and fisher, and I guess he hasn't heard that I don't hunt or fish and never have and never will, and he ain't letting no liberals in his house, but he thinks I'm a hardcore Trumper, and I'm of course not. I could care less about politics, but whatever gets me in the door, I guess, right? So no, we had a good time. Hondo's he's a nice enough dude. He's harmless as hell. He's pretty damn funny, but just some weird things. We went to Lake Mead right off the bat, and he took us out on his boat. And he said, "Jump off the back here. You'll just land in the water, no problem." Of course, I jump and land on a boulder and cut my leg wide open. And, just one thing after another, and went to a fancy restaurant in Vegas, and I was like, Hondo, we just got out of the lake. Should we go in this place? And he's like, oh yeah, I know everybody here. So I walked in and had his shirt unbuttoned, and it was quite an experience. So it was
dining,
different, man.
Dining with Hondo, yeah. Give me the dining with Hondo experience.
Oh, the dining with Hondo was better in Michigan because he ordered 2 prime ribs, and I thought one was for me, and it wasn't. So I had to order my own. But I can't remember what he ate in Vegas, but there was a lot of stuff coming to the table, and he knew the waitress for sure. So, Hondo's got the gift of gab, so he knew everybody we talked to. So it was really interesting.
What a price to pay for a place to stay during Mountain West.
You didn't get that Marriott credit card I told you about, did you?
No, I stayed at the Hondo Hotel. No, and obviously Hondo's a good sport and everything, and he, it was nice of him to let us stay, but we were definitely glad we had a rental car so we could, do our own thing for sure, and he is busy doing the Raiders thing, so he had me on his show on whatever Vegas radio station, and we actually heard it on the car radio on the way to Mountain West Media Days.
So it was on the actual radio.
It was, yeah. It was.
Wow.
It's on their the Raiders flagship station. So went on that, and of course, Hondo became best friends with John Gruden over the few months that
didn't work out.
So yeah, I'm sure he's having a rough time these last couple of weeks.
Well, I do worry for him because like D'Antonio left and he just left. Like I was like, I'm not going to try to, Michigan State's got a new coach. He doesn't know me. He's not going to give me access. I'm out of here. And there were probably other things going on. But
well, didn't he sling an arrow at D'Antonio in a press conference before he left?
Well, he might have. He might have as well. But so I'm wondering, like, yeah, I mean, everything. I mean, he's out there just. I mean, he runs a church too, right?
Yeah, so we couldn't come back to his house early one of those nights because he had a bunch of church people over, and they do some kind of church thing in the living room, and he does his YouTube videos and daily devotionals or whatever they're called. So, yeah, he's a man of many hats, Graham.
Yeah, no, you can. Yeah, no. So, is there anything else? But I mean, any other story you feel comfortable telling that summarizes the world of Hondo Carpenter?
Not that I feel real comfortable. No. I'm sorry. I feel bad because I like the guy. I really do. I just, some of the stories are probably not meant for everyone. But Hondo's definitely an open book, and he definitely has an extra room if any of you Michigan State fans want to go to Las Vegas anytime soon.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, well, there's that.
I wish Jason would have been with me more than anything in the world on that trip.
I contemplated it just for the stories alone.
He would have spilled it all.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't care. I'm not in the media.
You know what, though? Like, the beat is less interesting without Hondo back here. I'll give him that. Like, it is – like, I never my issues with Hondo only stemmed from years ago when I was covering Western Michigan in a story that may or may not have been completely fabricated that led me to do a lot of extra work because I didn't know it had been fabricated. And chasing down a lead, but and that was really before I knew who Hondo was. But he and I always got along well. I always, was never disrespectful to me or anything like that. He's just a character among characters, and I do think if somebody ever digs in and just does the story of Hondo, it's one that I would.
I think Cody should do it.
Yeah, Cody.
He's already on the inside.
You know
what? That's the perfect way to put it, Graham. I mean, he's a character, and he makes himself that way. And he is who he is. He's comfortable in his own skin, and that's what makes him kind of funny, whether he's trying to be funny or not. But the one thing I take away from him in Michigan is he sure wasn't afraid to sit in the front row and ask the first question and get right to it. That's for sure.
You are absolutely right. I hope you are doing well, my friend, and we miss you here. If you get sick of covering Wyoming, you should come back, hang out.
I appreciate that, man. I miss Michigan too, and my wife's family they're getting ready to move out here to Wyoming.
Oh,
so
wow.
Their house is on the market. If anybody's looking for a house in St. John's, give me a call.
There you go. Cody, we appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, fellas. See you later.
That's the great Cody Tucker. He's sort of like, what's his name in Sling Blade with a voice, Mm-hmm.
It turned into a Matt Shepard fest at the end. Hondo's a good guy.
Well, I mean,
it's seriously, whatever. It's just telling some stories.
Yeah. That's right. We appreciate Cody coming on. We appreciate James Edwards as well. Thanks to Skymint. Go to skymint.com for location information and specials. Couch in the Roof promo code, Couch and Roof 20. And again, let us know if you have any issues with that promo code. Use the promo code when you're there. Get a sense. We want to make sure that's working for you. And thanks to Cask & Company in Front 43. We will talk to you later in the week with Twitter questions from Groovy Donuts. Couch in the Roof.